Today's movie review is about Half Baked. And if this is the part where I don't get into spoilers. Half Baked is, I think it's a pretty cult classic movie because it's very old. It's released in I think 1998, and I don't think I've heard much talk about it. I've never heard anyone mention it as a good comedy movie or something like it's a classic or anything. But I mean, yeah, I've seen discussions on Reddit forums and stuff, but it's a very low key movie, I would say. It's not very well known, but it is good. I would say it's pretty good. The humor is, well, it's not, well, the humor is obviously, yeah, it comes from Dave Chappelle. I think that's who wrote it. Probably that's who wrote it, and the humor is not very on the nose, and it's very sort of unpredictable almost. It's very spontaneous, and that's similar to modern Dave Chappelle. But what you don't see as much is the modern Dave Chappelle doing really, on really like controversial topics. You don't really see him go that much on them. Obviously, he does do that, but it's not like super, super, controversial. It's like in this movie, however, I'm pretty sure they did a lot of that. Like they did a lot of these, very controversial topics. And I think if you're somebody who doesn't really mind that, if you're somebody who doesn't, it was just looking for a good laugh and you're just in the mood, yeah, it's a pretty good movie for that. It's not the funniest movie ever, and I don't think it's far from Dave Chappelle's best performance. I would even say it's a good movie. It's not the best movie. I think that's fine. Anyways, now getting into spoilers, the plot of the movie is a bit all over the place. We start with a almost friends like introduction to the movie where it shows like these four guys living together and you know everything along those lines. But then it sort of shifts to a sort of like get the girl sort of romance. And then there's also like this part where they free their friend from the jail, and it's like obviously I'm pretty sure that's for like the comedy part of it. But if you're actually just watching this seriously, I think you will kind of like feel like, damn, this movie is kind of like all over the place. Obviously, a lot of movies are that way. In fact, I think especially in modern day cinema, I'm pretty sure a lot of movies have these like really convoluted plots where like this thing is happening, like a plot A and plot B, almost like that. I think this movie does that as well, even though this is really old. But yeah, it does the sort of same thing, and it's fun to watch. I mean, I have to say, it's very fun to watch. In fact, uh, if I'm being real, if you're high and you're watching this movie, I think you'll have a lot of fun because the humor is just like very, and I said very spontaneous. So it's like you'll get a good laugh out of it. And I think that's all it tries to be, which is good. I think because it's not trying to be overly serious as well. I'm pretty sure Dave Chappelle, even in his like normal writing, he doesn't really do these serious, you know, like even if he does something serious, it has a joke in there where you can laugh. So yeah, that I think is very much like modern Dave Chappelle. So yeah. Other than that, the plot of the movie, as I said, is a bit all over the place. But there are certain scenes where I think even if you are watching this very seriously, or like if you're just like very like you got tunnel vision and you're not like listening to any of the jokes and you're just kind of going with the flow of the plot, I think even then you would really like some of the jokes that are put in here. Because obviously Dave Chappelle, he's the goat, man. I mean, he's amazing. He's amazing. Even back then, he is great. And yeah, I think that almost concludes the review. I would say. Um, if you are wondering if you should watch this movie or if you shouldn't watch this movie or how you should watch this movie, I would say, just put it on a TV, get some food. If you're with your family, that's well, family as in like, well, if it's your girlfriend, I wouldn't recommend watching this with your parents. But yeah, um, if you guys are comfortable with watching, kind of on the nose humor, it's great for that. I think you can have fun watching it. And yeah, that's about it. If I was to give this movie a rating, I would say 7.5 out of 10. As I said, it's not the greatest comedy movie ever. And if you're looking for something that will just keep making you laugh, you should, and like it's on the nose more, you could watch something like The Dictator or something popular or mainstream like that. And yeah, and I would also say if you're a big fan of Dave Chappelle, then you might like this movie a lot actually. The humor back then, yeah, it's very much similar to even now, even though it's a bit different, but I think you'll still like it. So yeah, that concludes the review. Bye bye.